Spark Books here. Today, I'm going to explain the book, Let's Talk, by Therese Huston. Take care, enjoy the book, and have a nice day. Let's Talk, Make Effective Feedback Your Superpower, 2021, is a guide to handling one of the trickiest parts of being a manager, giving feedback. Dr. Therese Huston draws upon her cognitive psychology research and her experience as an educator and consultant to help you understand how to give feedback in a way that benefits everyone involved. Key idea number 1. Consider whether your employee needs praise, mentoring, or evaluation before giving feedback. Knowing what conversation to have is the first step to giving meaningful feedback. After all, without knowing your goal, how can you tell if a talk went well? Most people don't learn appropriate feedback abilities, therefore they think feedback is either positive or bad. But that's not helpful. Different situations require different positive or negative input. Instead, consider all input gratitude, coaching, or evaluation. This Blink's main point: consider whether your employee needs recognition, mentoring, or evaluation before giving feedback. Positive feedback, appreciation, is the simplest. Did an employee present well this morning? Tell them, appreciation. Appreciation should be given right after the occurrence, while you and your employee are still thinking about it. This reinforces the behavior and makes the praise most meaningful. Relationships require appreciation. Ultimately, it's about valuing others. New hires or those learning a new skill should be appreciated. It helps them feel at home. Coaching comes next. Coaching aids growth. Maybe an employee gave a terrific presentation but struggled to answer follow-up inquiries. Good coaching would explain where the employee struggled and how to prevent it next time. Coaching can be brief and effective. Evaluation? Evaluation informs others. Evaluation is telling an employee her sales are third on the team. Tell your employee if she's meeting expectations or likely to get promoted here. Important: differentiate coaching from evaluation. When an employee wants coaching but gets an evaluation or thinks an evaluation is friendly advice, both parties are confused. This can cause major damage. Key idea number 2. Give feedback with flexibility, compassion, and forgiveness. You need the correct mindset to achieve your feedback goals. Because of your perspective, delivering feedback often fails. Would you take counsel from someone you didn't trust? Never. So when you talk to an employee, be ready to connect. This requires avoiding 3 attitude traps. This Blink advises offering feedback with flexibility, compassion, and forgiveness. Scripting is the first mindset trap. The ideal script can be all you need for perfect feedback. When you're off script, you're more concentrated on delivering your lines than listening to the other person. You should prepare, but don't think you'll memorize a speech. Second, you side with the problem instead of the employee. Your employee, the problem, and you are in every feedback session. Problems aren't fun, and by the time you meet with the employee, you've usually spent hours worrying about it. However, when offering feedback, you must side with the employee and work out a solution. They didn't get my side of the story. Ever heard that? That's problem supporting. Let the employee know you're on his side. You won't get far else. Last of our 3 attitude traps is forgetting that individuals can change. This is very harmful and will doom your feedback. Why advise someone who can't improve? Everyone has frustrating tendencies, including stubbornness or lack of attention to detail. Those are actions, not traits. Instead of harsh you or remarks, discuss the behaviors and their effects. This avoids personal attacks and allows growth. Key idea number 3. Spell out your goals for your employee and acknowledge her concerns to show your goodwill. Well-meaning feedback leads to failure. Most bosses want the best for their employees, but giving feedback often backfires, leaving a boss frustrated, an employee feeling attacked, and a problem unsolved. How can you make good intentions work? Make them known. No matter how much you want to help your employee, you won't if you don't say so. Start by telling her, "I'm in your corner." The takeaway is to state your intentions for your employee and acknowledge her concerns. Don't shoot the messenger, right? It means disliking those who offer terrible news, even if it's not their fault. Research backs this. A 10-cent bonus was randomly drawn in one research. Even though participants could see that the draw was random, a study subsequently indicated that they intensely despised the researcher who drew a number and announced that they would not get a bonus. More, participants were more positive toward the researcher drawing a random number when they were told they were trying to draw a winning number for them. Declaring their good intentions made a huge difference. Feedback works similarly. Your employee will instinctively dislike you when you provide unpleasant news. However, stating your good intentions will change everything. Build on this. Let your employee know you understand her concerns to demonstrate your support. This shows her you care for her and want the best for her. As the youngest team member, this employee worries about being taken seriously. Let's improve your presentation so the team will like them. You can say when giving her feedback, she'll feel heard and connected to the criticism. Key idea number 4, validate employee feelings and listen relationally. The dirty little secret of successful feedback is that saying and doing it is easy. Giving feedback is hardest while listening. Best listeners excel at all jobs. This goes beyond doctors and salespeople. Listening fast food managers report fewer accidents. Listening is still disregarded. Public and one-on-one speaking advice is abundant. What about listening? It demands considerable consideration like speaking. Listen before providing feedback. Listen relationally, not critically, and affirm employee feelings. Understanding the different styles of hearing is the first step to improve your listening. Managers can critically listen and spot BS. That style of listening isn't useful in most feedback exchanges. Relational listening, listening to understand, is needed here. Empathy, not judgment. Relational listening reduces stress and makes the other person more open to your suggestions. It shows your employees that you care about them as people and aren't merely bringing terrible news to ruin their day. Some are inherently better at this. Listening relationally doesn't require Oprah. Just try to comprehend. Effort matters. Validate the other party's feelings to focus this effort. Validating feelings doesn't mean agreeing with them. Don't tell someone he works more than anyone else in the office that you work longer. Say, I get it. It's okay if he doesn't realize others work more. Acknowledge his feelings before giving feedback. Key idea number 5, give appreciation, especially for team building strengths. Managers love giving praise because it makes both parties feel good, encourages good work, and is fun. Who doesn't like praise? Thus, the first tip for successful praise is to give more. People feel underappreciated. According to a 2011 Globoforce survey, only 25% of US workers think they get adequate praise at work. As a manager, you may worry that your praise would alienate staff or undermine your authority. Don't worry, praise doesn't have to be insincere. This blinks message: be generous with praise, especially for team building strengths. Praise improves teams. Praise motivates staff. Praise today leads to great performance tomorrow, according to data. How can you use this virtuous cycle? Praise more than you should first. Managers express appreciation frequently, but employees hear it rarely. University of Michigan researchers discovered that top teams received 5.6 compliments for every complaint, so praise generously. However, you shouldn't praise everything you see. Praise what matters. We strengths versus me strengths can help. Me strengths are work one enjoys. We strengths boost teams and organizations. Me strengths include designing fantastic PowerPoints. We strengths include meeting facilitation and consensus building. Me strengths rarely need recognition. They're gratifying by definition, so try matching someone's task to their me strengths. We strengths should be praised repeatedly. For young or inexperienced employees, praise their actions and explain how it benefited the team. Positive feedback reinforces positive attitudes and accomplishment. Key idea number 6, give constructive criticism privately. Negative feedback, like a supervisor's "we need to talk" email, is terrifying. Stress impairs cognition. According to research, stress hormones impair memory and multitasking. Managers must occasionally have tough dialogues. When you approach your employee, be extremely careful. Listening and connecting are crucial for resolving poor performance. This blink advises giving unpleasant comments privately and with a growth mindset. Stress might hurt feedback sessions. If the other person is tense and nervous, she may not be able to think clearly about what went wrong with a project. Avoid that. First, provide the bad comments one-on-one. If the issue affects a team, address the whole team rather than one person in a larger gathering. After finding privacy, coach your employee with a growth mentality. Behaviors can be improved with a growth mentality. This shows that your employee can progress. Your employee didn't get a good bargain. Telling her she's lousy at negotiating won't help her grow. Tell her bargaining is a talent and you saw some ways she can improve. Mention specific mistakes and assure her she can improve. However, you may have to address a personal issue like hygiene or behavior. Weird. Acknowledge that first. Remind your employee of your goodwill. Explain how the issue affects the workplace. Ask her opinion. She can explain herself and set out a solution. Key idea number 7. Check in with staff periodically to avoid surprises. Variety is the spice of life, but offering feedback should never be surprising. An unfair appraisal is the fastest way to alienate and irritate your employees. Regular team check-ins prevent this. It's more important that everyone knows where they stand than if you're repetitive or obvious. This makes your staff happier and makes your job easier by letting you address concerns before they become serious difficulties. To avoid surprises, check in with your employees periodically. Staying on top of evaluations is crucial. Avoid referring to last year's occurrences. You should evaluate at least every 6 months, but coaching should be more regular. Every 3 months, evaluate candidates for new roles. Let them know if they're failing. New and performance improvement employees should be checked in more often. After a month, new hires should know their status. You should coach underperformers weekly. Check-ins should end with you and your employee agreeing. To ensure understanding, ask the other person for their top 3 takeaways from the conversation. We've covered a lot of material here. Let's discuss your top 3 priorities going forward as a fast and non-condescending review. If needed, you might set a final measurable objective for progress. Feedback motivates and evaluates, so get it right. Show your support when giving feedback. Know what you want from the talk and listen relationally to hear the other side. To view more content like this, subscribe. Don't forget to like and turn on notifications. The channel really benefits from it. I appreciate you being here.